Well, welcome everyone back to our weekly Facebook Live Experts series. We had a special week this week. We had two experts. Yesterday we had a great talk about CFO, Trina. That was super fun. And now we're talking about oral care, which is like one of my audience's absolute favorite topics. I love that my audience is like so eager to learn about it. And I love your expertise and all your products. So it's going to be really fun. We kind of wanted to introduce it just before the holidays too, as people are thinking of gifts, like thinking out of the box, like what a great investment for with some of your products. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, Bridget. I always love your audience because they're always ready for change and open to new ideas that improve their health. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, they totally are. So let me just tell people a little bit more about you. And if people are just seeing the recording, I'm at the airport. That's why I'm sort of kind of wearing my mask. Nobody's really around, luckily. So Trina Felber is the founder and CEO of Primal Life Organics. As a registered nurse with a master's degree in anesthesia, Trina disrupted the beauty industry and exposed the hypertoxic personal care products poisoning us by Big Cosmo. I haven't heard that term. She started her natural dental and skincare company in 2008 and puts her nurse's care into every product she makes. Trina is a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur and the best-selling author of Beauty's Dirty Secret. She has made the Inc. 5000 list 5 years in a row and has been interviewed in Dr. Oz, Paleo Magazine, CBS, NBC, Fox affiliates, and on hundreds of podcasts worldwide. That's awesome. I didn't know some of those things.
Yeah.
So great. Yeah, I love your business. I love what you're doing. The title of your talk is so cute. So you think your mouth is healthy, think again. So great. So let's get started. Why are mouths not as healthy as we think they are?
Well, first off, the first sign that your mouth is not healthy is bad breath. It's, you know what, we grew up believing bad breath is just something that happens when you get older. Kids don't really think about it. And we feel like we have to get rid of bad breath. So we use all these things, breath mints, gum, mouthwash, and, brushing our teeth. When in reality, those things are actually causing us to have worse breath. Bad breath is just an overgrowth. It's an imbalance in the good bacteria. I have a little sad guy here, a bad bacteria guy. It's too many of these guys and not enough of the good guys inside your mouth. When these guys are prevalent, you're at risk for gum disease, cavities, sensitive teeth. And then beyond that, it goes beyond your mouth. It gets more complicated once it crosses through the membranes. Leaky gum syndrome. When you swallow this stuff, it gets into your gut and your microbiome, and your gut gets more disturbed. And then beyond that, it gets to your heart. Heart disease is related. Alzheimer's is related. Preterm labor, infertility for both men and women, thyroid problems, and more. It just gets more and more. So bad breath is a sign to you that there's an imbalance in too many of these guys, and it's not normal, and it's super easy to fix.
Awesome. It's so interesting. I bet people wouldn't know. Well, let's dive into the thyroid one, because I bet that's one people didn't know. How does it structure thyroid?
Some of the ingredients in skincare too, but even in your dental products, such as triclosan and sodium lauryl sulfate and fluoride, as well as the artificial sweeteners, the artificial colors, they are hormone disruptors, and they are going to disrupt any hormone producing organ, and any organ that is affected by hormones is then also going to be affected. Your thyroid is responsible for a lot of things, and thermoregulation, but it's also responsible for your metabolism. And if you're using products that contain ingredients that are disrupting the way that your hormone or your thyroid functions, there's a good possibility that your thyroid isn't working properly to maintain your metabolism, and you could be storing too much fat. So that's a very basic way that it can affect your hormones. But the ingredients in regular mainstream dental products are doing more harm than good. By that, I mean they're causing an increase in the wrong bacteria inside your mouth. And ultimately, that is going to affect your overall health.
Okay, so conventional products can affect the bacterial balance and the supplying chemicals does the bacterial balance, you may have said this, but does the bacterial balance itself could probably stress the thyroid too, right? For gut's a place for thyroid conversion. Just, I feel like the thyroid is just so sensitive to any kind of stress.
Anything, stress, and stress, plays a big role. We're all stressed, and we all deal with it different ways. And whether it's your business, your home life, your family, your anything, it's very stressful, and just what's going on in the world can be stressful. Stress is ultimately can affect your saliva production, and your saliva is the lifeblood of your mouth for a lot of reasons. It's got digestive protein. So as mammals, we're the only mammals that our saliva contains enzymes that start the process of digestion inside the mouth. So saliva starts digestion. It has minerals in it that are supposed to remineralize your teeth. It also contains antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, everything. So that's why we say the immune system actually starts inside your mouth, because your saliva is actually supposed to kill that stuff before it reaches your gut or crosses through your membranes inside your mouth. And unfortunately, when the acids increase inside your mouth, the saliva becomes less effective, and ultimately you can produce less saliva. And with less saliva, you also have less nitric oxide production, because your saliva and the bacteria inside your mouth is directly related to nitric oxide production with the bacteria in the gut. So you got to have a healthy microbiome here for nitric oxide production, the whole production process to happen. Nitric oxide is completely related to sleep, how well you sleep, related to your hormones. It's related to stress. It's related to anything vasodilate. It's a vasodilator. So think about your heart health. Think about every other organ in your body, men and women, that needs vasodilation to happen. And that would be your sexual organs. Erectile dysfunction for both men and women can be affected totally by your mouth, but the bacteria inside your mouth. Too many of these bad guys, and sexual health starts to go down, fertility goes down, all sorts of problems.
Yeah, you said so much great stuff there. I just really I've been learning a little bit more about ED, because it's like really an epidemic. I really hadn't thought about it as being something women can have too. I think, I don't know who brought it up lately, or where I mentioned it, or where I learned it, but I was like, oh, because, women have trouble too. They have trouble reaching orgasm. And I just was like, it's the same kind of tissue needs to like fill with blood. And people, I'm sure, would never think anything has to do with your oral health with that issue.
No, it's never connected. Like, when is the last time, you had something happening that's very bizarre, kind of not normal for you, and did your doctor or dentist ever link it back to your oral health? And that's really the gateway. We say it's the, I always say, good health starts inside your mouth. I heard that when I was young. I never really understood how powerful that was, and I didn't know what it meant. And what I always envision is, if good health starts inside your mouth, and if your mouth is not healthy, you're using the wrong products, the wrong ingredients, your wrong habits, then that is exactly where good health stops. Also, you're more susceptible to bacteria and viruses. If you're someone who suffers from frequent sinus infections, a lot of allergies, the flu, the cold take you down. It's not just related to your gut, but it starts inside your mouth. Your gut starts inside your mouth. It's the beginning of your digestive system. If your mouth's not healthy, it's going to be really hard for anything else to be healthy after that.
Well, I feel like we've made the case already, but is there any other points you wanted to make, like, that are signs of an unhealthy mouth besides bad breath, and perhaps some of these things you listed off?
Yeah, most of them. So it would be, bad breath is really the first sign. That white coating on your tongue, any kind of plaque buildup, or that weird, horrible feeling when your tongue brushes against your teeth, that bumpy ridge feeling. So plaque buildup, sensitive teeth, that's a destruction of the enamel. That's loss of minerals, holes or pits in your enamel. And then that leads to cavities, gum disease. The more in depth it gets, the more it affects, the more danger or dangerous it is to the body. So you would end up with periodontal disease, which affects not just the gums, but the bone underneath of the mouth. And then beyond that, like we mentioned, is the heart disease, which is a sign possibly of gum disease. And so is, forgetfulness, and the early signs of dementia could also be a sign that there's problems inside the mouth. And there are simple solutions. There's simple ways that I've discovered, not just for me, for my family. I was really developed because my daughter had a tooth erupt when she was just 2 years old that had a natural cavity in it. I like to show everybody what I'm talking about. So if you're watching, this is a model of a tooth, and she had what was like a natural cavity. So you see that dark spot right there. We took her to the dentist, and the dentist looked at the tooth and said, that's a natural cavity. It developed in utero, which I didn't even know was possible. But it developed when that tooth was being developed. I probably had some sort of viral infection or a bacterial infection or stress. And he said that it was a significant cavity and it would need to be filled. So he decided that we would put a temporary filling in it, and the filling would probably fall out every 2 to 3 months. And every time the filling fell out, we would just decide, do we put another filling in, or do we just pull the tooth? And he said that most likely the tooth would need to be pulled within a year. And as I was leaving the dentist office, I know as a nurse, that every tooth is connected to an organ in the body. During fetal development, a tooth and an organ is developed at the same time, and there's the meridian connection. So sometimes if there's a problem with an organ, you might have a toothache connected to that organ that's trying to signal to you that that organ is having problems. The vice versa is also true. If you have a toothache, or if you have a problem with your tooth, you might end up with like a stomach ache or gallbladder issues when there's really nothing physically wrong with that organ. And it's really signaling to your body or your brain that something's wrong with that tooth. So when I was leaving the dentist office with her, he said, Trina, don't worry, Mom. We put a temporary filling in, and now we just hope for the best. And I just immediately stopped and thought, there is no way this mama is hoping for the best. I mean, really? So I had already been making skincare products, and I thought, I'm just going to see what's out there. And if there's anything I can do to help keep that tooth as healthy as possible. My goal was beyond the 1 year. I just wanted to get it past 1 year, because that's what he said was the time frame that it would have to be pulled. So I found Dr. Weston A. Price. I started doing my research, and I found Dr. Weston A. Price. For those of you who don't know who he is, he was a dentist in the early 1900s. He connected the link between sugar and cavities, and basically went to the ADA and said, I figured out the link, and if we can get rid of sugar in the diet, then we can get rid of cavities and dental disease. And the ADA looked at the panel. There were two sides to the story, his side and the side that said, no, we need cavities because we need to have business. And the ADA went the other direction. And so Dr. Weston A. Price was kind of put down. And when I saw that and read about that, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the guy I need. That's the guy I want on my team. I want to build a product. I want to do something for my daughter to keep her tooth healthy. So then I just researched what he studied and what he discovered. He basically discovered that an alkaline mouth that is healthy, so you're constantly detoxing the tissues, cleansing the tissues, alkaline and has minerals, is what your whole mouth needs for whole mouth health. And for that, I mean teeth, gums, and your breath. Your tongue has a lot to do with your breath, the bacteria on your tongue. So I formulated my dirty mouth tooth powder, which is what I sell with Primal Life Organics, formulated it for my daughter for those three reasons: to detox, to put the minerals back in her tooth to make it strong, and to alkalize. And that tooth fell out naturally at the age of 12. And that cavity, that natural filling, that first filling, that temporary filling was still in place. We never had to replace that filling, not even once. And her tooth had literally remineralized around that filling to hold that filling in place and actually protect it so bacteria wouldn't get underneath it. So it was a really success story for me, because 12 years, I didn't expect it to go that long, but totally lasted the lifespan of that tooth.
Amazing. I've interviewed you before, but I feel like this is all like new to me. I'm like, this is so exciting. I'm so glad we're getting into all this. So that was a great story with your daughter's tooth. I mean, I think all of us need to do this care preventatively. I definitely we get a lot of people writing into customer service saying, well, I have X, Y, and Z like dental problem. What do you suggest? So I think from my observation of that, Trina, that's why we get so much interest in this topic. Like people are already kind of seem to be in an advanced stage of like gum disease or some kind of like have some kind of root canal issue. Do you get like a gazillion stories, people coming to you?
Oh, totally. People find me and they're like, oh my gosh, where have you been? We, yeah, by the time you have a problem inside your mouth, by the time the dentist is signaling you have a problem inside your mouth, it's not beyond repair, but it's been there for a while. Mm-hmm. By the time you have gum recession, you've had it for a while. Gum recession starts in your 20s. Most people don't notice it until they're in their 30s because we're not looking. We're not taught to look. And our dentist isn't really concerned about it until it gets to a certain point. And then once it gets to that certain point, it's harder and harder to fix or heal. And the truth of the matter is, I get asked all the time, like I get told, I guess, a lot that you can't heal a cavity and you can't regrow your gum tissue. And both of those are false. I proved it with my customers. My customers love it because they've had cavities that needed. I actually had a woman that needed a root canal. She had 6 cavities. One of them, she was in Texas, needed a root canal in one of them and bought my Dirty Mouth tooth powder. This was years ago. Bought my Dirty Mouth tooth powder as a last resort because she didn't want the rest of her mouth going the way these were. And you have to understand, if a cavity is happening in one tooth, it's in the same environment as all the other teeth. So if it's happening to one tooth, it's happening to all the other teeth as well. So that was her biggest motivator to find something, is to prevent this from happening to the rest of her teeth. And she started using my Dirty Mouth tooth powder, went back to the dentist for her root canal, sat down in the chair. The dentist took one look at her mouth and he said, Miss Gibbs, her name's Miss Gibbs, Miss Gibbs, you only have one cavity and it's so small, you don't need a root canal, so you can go home. And that was just a matter of weeks. It was just a matter of weeks. So it's all about the environment inside your mouth, making it healthy and setting it up so that it can remineralize, your gum tissue can regenerate, the bacteria is healthy. And then from there, it extends deeper into the tissues, deeper into your body.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think we've made the case. I'd love for you to show and tell all your options and products and how to use them if you're ready to move on to that.
Oh yeah, I totally am. And I put together a kit because it's super easy when you get all the tools that you need instead of trying to figure it out for yourself. So what I did is I put together, it's called a dental detox kit. The lighting might be a little hard to see, but dental detox kit. And it's a 60-day supply of everything that you need to pretty much be your own dental hygienist, to take home everything that you need. And I'm not adding anything to your already busy day for the most part. The only thing that I might be adding, if you don't already scrape your tongue, is a tongue scraper, and that takes about 10 seconds. So we're just replacing what you're using with something that's going to be more effective for the reasons that I mentioned. It's going to be alkaline, detox your mouth, and it's going to have the minerals in it to remineralize your teeth. So you get a morning and a nighttime tooth powder. And in the kit, I do make paste, but the powder is so effective, much quicker, because there's no dilution to it. And a lot of people start powder, love the powder, and always stay with the powder. Some people then switch to the paste after the kit, and that's fine. Either one is great. but it has to have all of those ingredients. And what signifies something that is healthy would be, for the alkalinity, you want something that has baking soda in it. So this is how I formulated my stuff, based off the research. Everything I do for the dental health is based off of Dr. Weston A. Price's research. So it's got a blend of 3 different clays. It has some baking soda in it. The clays have the minerals in it for your teeth. The clay is detoxing for your gum tissues. It's anti-inflammatory and analgesic by nature, the French green clay is. So it's going to help with pain and inflammation inside your gum tissue. So all of this will speed healing much quicker and reset the microbiome inside your mouth to be healthy, so that you can get past the gum disease and get past the cavities. Secondly, you would get the gum serum. It replaces mouthwash. I usually tell people, don't use anything else when you're using this, when you're starting with this, primarily because this is meant to work together. Any outside product isn't formulated the same way I formulate mine and can disrupt your microbiome. That's the biggest enemy of the mouth. The health of the mouth is the microbiome. So just by using this. So the gum serum replaces mouthwash. Most mouthwashes destroy all bacteria, even healthier versions of them. So a gum serum is just meant to be put, it's olive oil with essential oils, put on your finger and rub on your gum tissues, super easy. You get a bamboo toothbrush. So this is a manual toothbrush. It's made of bamboo, it's just sustainable, will break down in the ground when you throw it away in about 6 months. It has bristles that are also biodegradable, soft bristles infused with charcoal. You also get my biodegradable, you're getting a theme here. Everything that I create is with Mother Nature intended for the best interest of not just our health, but of Mother Nature's health, or the earth. So it's biodegradable, made from cornstarch, has bamboo as the floss, and works really good. It's a super strong string. Most people that use floss say that they've never used a floss like this because it's so strong, it can really get between the teeth. You get it's hard to see on here, but a copper tongue scraper. If you take care of it, this one copper tongue scraper will last you a lifetime. It's super durable. Copper is great. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial. As you're scraping that gunk off your tongue, you're going to help with increase or speed up the process of eliminating those bacteria that live on your tongue. The bacteria that lives on your tongue is basically a biofilm, just like plaque, and it creates its own environment underneath. And by scraping that off, you're going to actually eliminate a lot of your bad breath, and you're going to speed up the process of healing the rest of your mouth. And not to mention, your food is going to taste better and your breath is going to be fresher. And then I always throw in a detoxing deodorant, because I know a lot of people have had no or little success with natural deodorants. And I formulated mine very differently than most natural deodorants. And I want to throw it in there because I never want people to give up their fresh smelling pits, because they're sacrificing it to chemicals. So I throw it in there as a gift for everyone to try. So this is where you start.
Awesome. I'm just kind of speculating out loud here, but I know people have a hard time going from synthetic deodorant to natural because it seems like they smell worse at first. But I really think, similar to what you just explained in the mouth, like those years on the synthetic deodorant make you stinkier. Like, do you find that? I've been off synthetic deodorant for a long time. I live in a very hot place, and I don't know, I just don't feel like odor is like a big issue for me. What do you think on that?
It's totally true. And the way I created mine is I have clay in it, and some of the formulas have charcoal in it. Charcoal is going to help pull the toxins from the tissue, because sometimes it's the built up toxins. So your odor can come from inside. It can come internally from the food you eat, supplements, dehydration, just the waste products, all of that kind of thing. But externally, the odor can come from bacteria, which we know. Most deodorants attack the bacteria. They kill the bacteria. But another odor causing thing would be zinc salt, or it's short fatty acids. Short fatty acids underneath your armpits stink like crazy. And most deodorants, especially natural deodorants, don't do anything to neutralize that odor from the short fatty acids. So you end up with odor and not know why, or you're using a baking soda formula, which mine is baking soda free. And baking soda changes the pH to kill the bacteria, but causes a burn. It's actually a burn, not a rash. We all call it a rash, but it's really a burn. I was a burn nurse for years. And it's a burn because it changes the pH of your armpit. What I did is formulated this with not just clay to detox the pits, but I also put in zinc oxide. Zinc oxide converts the short fatty acids to zinc salt. Zinc salt does not sting, it does not burn, it does not change the pH, but it has a very neutral odor. So we hit it from a couple different ways. And then when you put mine on, I don't have a sample in front of me, but it goes on a little bit with a little bit of color. So the black formulas go on slightly lavender, the white formulas go on slightly white. And I did that on purpose so that you would rub it in. So you only need like 2 to 3 swipes, massage it in. And what you're doing when you massage it in, this is where I put my nursing care into my products. You have lymph nodes under your armpit, and your lymph nodes are tied to internal health, especially for women and men. Breast health is tied to the lymph nodes right here. So by massaging your lymph nodes, you're able to facilitate the movement of the lymphatic drainage that is really stagnant. It doesn't, especially under here, you don't get much movement under your armpits. So by massaging your deodorant into your armpits, you're massaging your lymph nodes and facilitating that drainage. I call it taking out your trash every day when you massage in your deodorant. And by doing that, with all of the formula, the way it's formulated with the coconut oil, the hemp seed oil, I put hemp seed in there for the anti-inflammatory properties and the detoxifying properties. And then the clay and everything else that's in there, it's going to actually make the tissue and your lymphatic drainage so much cleaner that you won't have as many issues with body odor and sweat. It's not an antiperspirant, not going to stop you from sweating, but so many people that start with my deodorant realize that they don't sweat as much because they pretty much open the gate, the channel. They can sweat when they need to instead of plugging them up and blocking them. And now you've got all this stuff that can't get out.
And you want to sweat. It's how you detoxify, right? You know that. And yeah, I think you want to more helps. I love this idea of paying attention to your armpit for a moment of the day. Like we don't pay any attention to that area. It's sort of like some forbidden, icky area type of attitude. And it's a great time when you get out of the shower or bath and you're going to do deodorant anyways to like massage that area. Yeah, I think it's an important drainage area. And even like I'm a dry brusher, but sometimes I don't dry brush my pits because like I'm still dirty in the morning and I think it's gross. But you can switch and do that afterwards. I get sometimes those lymph nodule like swelling in my armpit, which always kind of freaks me out, even though whatever. But you know, we've learned a little bit about like massaging the collarbone area, and there's some essential oils you can do. And it just seems like such a nice way to like care for ourselves.
Yeah, and if you're doing it every day, or I tell people too that if they want an extra detox dose, just put another dose or another swipe or two on when you go to bed. And that clay and charcoal, if you're using the black formula, when you're sleeping, will just help pull out toxins. And then that daily massage, if you do it daily, over time, it's just going to be cleaner, and hopefully you won't have those nodules pop back up because you're continuously taking care of that area.
Yeah, when I do have them, I'll put like a full clay or charcoal like mask, and that's helpful. But that's a good point too. I think people often think they have to put their deodorant on only in the morning, and I'm a big like nighttime sauna bath person, so I'll just use it then. It's not like some kind of mask you put on to go out for the day, which is, I think, kind of how we traditionally have or conventionally think of it, right? It's like, oh, I gotta cover up with all these scents and whatever.
And your body detoxes naturally when you're sleeping anyway, which is really the best time to do those types of practices. So by putting it on at night, you're just helping your body get rid of it, because when the way clay works is it's an ionic bond. So garbage, toxins, whatever you want to call it, has a positive charge. Clay has a negative, and it's an ionic bond. So as soon as clay bonds with a toxin, it doesn't let go. And so what happens is it pulls it out of your tissue, and then you wash it away or you spit it out inside your mouth. When you're brushing your teeth, it holds on. you spit it out. If you swallow, because a lot of people, you do swallow some, of whatever you put inside your mouth, whether it's toothpaste or powder or food or whatever. And so, I've done, and you've probably done clay detoxes where you actually drink bentonite clay, food grade clay. And so through that whole process, wherever that toxin is, and even if it's in your mouth and you swallow it, it's not going to let go all the way through your digestive tract. So then you can eliminate it when you go to the bathroom, which is like such a blessing. It's such an easy practice to do. And we actually have a blog. I did a blog a long time ago. It was kind of, funny because I did, do you spit or swallow with your tooth powder? And you won't want to swallow your toothpaste, but tooth powder, as long as it's food grade clays, which is what I use in mine, you could technically swallow and then do that detox all the way through. I usually say if you're going to do that, you want to do a double brush, because your first brush and then spit is going to have all the toxins from your mouth. But then you can also rebrush and then swallow if you want to. And then you're just going to get a daily detox through your gut.
Interesting. Well, Tom had kind of a related question. He said, is it okay to put a little activated charcoal on my toothbrush when I brush?
Yes. I don't know what she's brushing with, but activated charcoal. Yeah, activated charcoal is harmless. It's not going to hurt your teeth. It's not going to hurt your gums. It's very potent at detoxifying. It helps to whiten. You can't, I don't recommend using charcoal alone. And it depends on what you're brushing with. Now, the 3 components of my program and the way I built my program is based off Dr. Weston Price. It has to be alkaline. Charcoal is fairly alkaline. It's more neutral. So it's not harming you. It has to detox, which it does, but it doesn't contain minerals. So you're going to, if you lose minerals, which we all do, when you lose minerals, it's during the acidic process inside your mouth. Most of the foods and the drinks, like coffee is acidic by nature. Red meat is acidic. Almost everything, processed foods are acidic. So the acids from your diet alone are going to be demineralizing your teeth, minerals coming out. If during the time that you brush your teeth, if your saliva isn't healthy enough, if there's too many acids in your mouth and your saliva can't work, because saliva is neutral, it's not really alkaline. So it can't reverse an alkaline mouth. So if your mouth is too acidic, your saliva will not function. And I always say it's the body secretion no one's talking about. And it's so important because it's your first line of defense against everything. And it's what keeps your mouth, it's supposed to keep your mouth healthy. So charcoal added, that's why in my formula, my nighttime formula has charcoal added to the 3 clays, the baking soda, and the essential oils. And that's the best way to do charcoal, because then you're getting the benefits of all 3, and you'll be able to put the minerals back in your teeth right there where you're brushing. And as far as the minerals go, it's a lock and key. And your teeth have calcium and phosphorus, but they also have silica and manganese and magnesium and so many other minerals. And if you lose a calcium, the problem with most dental products, when they do have something in them to address demineralization, it's usually calcium phos. And if you lose a manganese, you will have a hole in your tooth until you eat something that has manganese, as long as your mouth is alkaline. If you eat something that has manganese, broccoli, and your mouth is acidic, then that manganese will just go right through your digestive tract. It won't go back into your tooth. That's the beauty behind brushing with dirty mouth tooth powder, is the way I formulated it. It has 3 different clays. So you have all the different minerals in it, and it's alkaline. So as you're brushing, you are literally brushing those minerals back into your teeth to strengthen them.
This is so interesting. So this is just like the gut. If it's inflamed and off, you're not going to absorb things. So if the mouth is acidic, like you've just had a coffee or something sweet, you're not going to absorb the broccoli benefits. This is what you're saying, huh?
So yes, and your saliva is really like back in the day with our ancestors, and they ate pretty healthy. It was when sugar really came into our diet, is where we got that excess of the acid in the mouth, and sugar just feeds the bacteria, and bacteria creates its own. It's just like cancer. It's going to create its own environment that it can survive in. So the bad bacteria creates more acid. So even if you're not eating acidic foods for the moment, but you have the wrong bacteria inside your mouth, it's creating more acid inside your mouth. The bacteria on your tongue creating acid. So even when you're salivating, which we do all day long, if you have that going on inside your mouth and too much of the bad bacteria, your saliva won't work. It's not going to be effective enough. So by brushing with something, making sure, some tips on eating, because I know we're not perfect, and we're never going to get rid of sugar in our diet, regardless of whether it's even just a natural sugar like honey or molasses. But I usually try to tell people, eat. This is where my kids always go, Mom, you say eat the dessert first, eat your dessert first, or think about it on your plate, eat your acids first, and always save your alkaline foods for last, or at least a couple bites of them. So if you're eating steak, which I had last night, I'll eat my steak and then, I'll nibble on my vegetables or my salad, but I'll leave a couple bites as my very last thing, so that as you're chomping it, make sure you're chewing really good, like 20 times for each bite. As you're chewing, you're working away the acid. You're going to leave it with more alkaline. That way your saliva can function. Secondly, when you're done eating, just swish with some water. Just try to get rid of the food particles that are left inside your mouth and just swish it around and swallow it. It's pretty simple to do that. You're not changing much. You do want to be aware of, if you're eating processed foods and high sugar foods, you are going to have a harder time. Even if you do switch to something like this, it will help, it will work, but it will take longer. So by eliminating that or reducing the amount of sugars that you're eating, you can drink your coffee, just don't put the sugar in it, drink it, without the sugar, and then rinse it with water when you're done. It'll be more effective that way, just keeping your mouth healthy.
I think that very few people know you even could absorb minerals into your teeth, like right away from your food. I just don't think that's really known. Like, I think we eat and then it absorbs and then it like comes up. I mean, maybe that's part of it too, through the blood, but yeah, I don't think people think you can absorb it through your teeth. Do you think?
I think that our education for dental health is really lacking through our school systems and through our dental care. I really am challenged with dentists, because I love the dentist and I think that ultimately they have great hearts, but they're not even taught this. I get challenged by dental hygienists all the time that tell me you can't heal a cavity. Stop telling people you're lying. And I always tell them, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely 100% right. And you are 100% wrong. If you keep using the C brands and you keep, doing mouthwash with, the blue stuff, you will never heal a cavity. If you keep eating sugar and eating all the processed foods, you will never heal a cavity, because if you know the formula, I've written out the formula on how to heal a cavity. If you know the formula and you just make some adjustments in what you're doing, you can 100% heal a cavity, because I've done it millions of times. We've healed so many cavities.
Yeah, and you basically outlined the whole thing. This is like such a valuable interview. Do you want to show that kit? I think it's about, is it $79, Trina?
Yeah, it's right around $79. And I'll give you the link, and just make sure, or I think you have the link. And just for your viewers, just make sure you click the link that Bridget has, because you guys get the best price on that. On the website, it's more. And you can buy, the more you buy, the more you save. So you can get a bundle of 3
nice.
or a bundle of 6 if you have more family members, or for Christmas. I know we were talking about that. It's a great gift for people. And then I wanted to touch on the LED light, if you have a second. Most people don't realize that LED light, you can, I've created a device that you can put it inside your mouth. And not only, we sell it as a teeth whitening device because that's what most people are looking for, but ultimately this does more than whiten your teeth. So up close, it's a mouthpiece that has both blue, all blue, 16 blue, 16 red, and then a blend of 32, the red and the blue at both times. And I created this because I wanted a better solution for whitening your teeth. And knowing that peroxide is damaging for everyone's enamel, everyone's microbiome, and it doesn't work right. It actually reduces the amount of fluid underneath your enamel in the dentin layer, and it weakens your tooth. So I wanted to create something that people could use, that they would get a whiter tooth, but for the long term. I'm in it for the long term. I'm not the quick fix. I'm the long-term solution. And how this works, it works a couple different ways. So the gel that I created is peroxide free. And it has all those components that I talked about, from the tooth powder and the gum serum. It has the olive oil base. It has the clay in it. It has the essential oils in it. And it has all of those things in it to help reduce the bad bacteria, support your good microbiome, get rid of the plaque, and remineralize your teeth and help heal your gum tissue. And then the lights are really phenomenal. So the lights just make the process much better. Blue light actually kills bad bacteria. So the bad bacteria inside your mouth have like a heme molecule. So it's like a red or a dark, like an iron molecule in it. And what Harvard studied blue light and the bad bacteria with the iron. And what they discovered was that blue light kills these guys. It kills the bad guys. The good guys don't have that. So the good guys aren't affected by blue light. So by putting blue light in your mouth, you can very quickly and easily get rid of these guys, non-toxic. I'm talking not even putting chemicals inside your mouth. And then the blue light will also help whiten the surface of your teeth. And then the red light is more for blood flow. If you think about your skin and doing red light therapy for your skin and healing wounds, a lot of times diabetics will use it, or post-surgery. And the red light is more for your gum tissue and the tissues of your mouth. It's going to support an increase in blood flow. Anytime you can increase blood flow, you reduce inflammation, you speed healing. It supports collagen production, just like in your tissues in your face. The collagen is, you still have collagen in your gum tissues and in the bone underneath. The nice thing about both red and blue light is it doesn't just hit the surface, but it penetrates deeper into the tissue. So depending on the thickness of your gum tissue, it can actually get into the pockets, and that bacteria, the blue light could kill the bacteria that's in the pockets that you can't even reach. It can penetrate between your teeth to some degree to kill the bacteria between your teeth. And then it can also penetrate, possibly not, I don't know for sure on every individual person, but it could penetrate into the bone and stimulate the collagen in the bone tissue as well. So red light therapy will also help reduce the inflammation, speed blood flow, and then possibly increase the collagen, which will then help with the regeneration of the gum tissue.
And do you put any kind of gel or anything into that, or you just put it in?
We do have, the gel comes with it. I do have a whole kit here. So this is the kit that you get. And again, click on Bridget's link if you're interested in this, because through her link, you save 65%. So it's a really great discount. If you go to the website, it's way more. So just click through her link. You get the teeth whitening, the mouthpiece. You get a mouth therapy. We call it mouth therapy for the benefits. It's not just whitening your teeth, but you get a syringe. We're getting ready to change the syringe into little pods. The version right now has this, but eventually everything will be converted over to a pod. So when you're ready for refills, it'll probably be the pods, which are going to be a little bit easier to use. But this is a syringe. So you just put a little bit of the gel on your finger and then rub it on your teeth and then put the device in. It works best if you just wipe and blot your teeth so that they're not wet, no saliva, and then put the gel on. And the gel will eventually, just like if you've ever used peroxide or anything, the gel sort of wears away during the treatment because you're salivating. And that's okay, because you're really still getting the benefits of the light therapy as well. And then it comes with a recharging cord. So it's a rechargeable, it lasts quite a while, probably like about 20 treatments,
Wow.
Depending on if you're using both lights at the same time or the individual lights. And then the refill. So this comes with 20 treatments. And we recommend, because it's a process of remineralizing your teeth and reestablishing the good bacteria, I recommend 5 treatments. It's 15 minutes, 5 treatments a week for 4 weeks. And then after you're done with the first 4 weeks, you can do 1, 2, or 3 or more treatments a week, depending on what your goal is and where you are at that point. And I always tell people, if you do one treatment, it doesn't seem like it's maintaining or still keeping you healthy, then just add another treatment and for the week, and you'll be good. But this is really something that I tell people to work it into your already busy schedule. So do it. There's 2 things you can't do when this is in your mouth. You can't talk and you can't eat. So fit it into activities that you do. You check your email. You don't need to be talking. You don't need to be eating, so do it when you're checking your emails. I have a lot of, especially women, that use it when they're making dinner. Moms, how many times have you made dinner and you've been snacking the whole time you're making dinner, and then you sit down to eat and you're not hungry, but you feel guilty, so you eat anyway, and then you wonder why the scale keeps going up. So it's a great diet aid. Put it in your mouth, and when you're making dinner and you can't snack. I have so many women that do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have one. I have to confess, it's gotten buried in my bathroom cabinet. So I need to put it in my routine. I think it's a great way to just if you're hearing all this and you're like, man, I want to really get on this. It's a great thing to have because it's going to last forever. I want to mention the gum serum that I love so much. It just has the best feeling. So I think once you up your oral care game, you just feel you just feel so good. You just your teeth just feel so clean and nice, and everything feels so healthy. So I would encourage people know that they're going to get some short-term benefits as well, just with your mouth feel and maybe your breath. Can you show the electric toothpaste again? I know you don't have the link totally ready, or we'll get that later, but okay, tell us about that one more time.
So this one is coming out. If you guys are watching live, it's on the website already.
Okay.
So it is on the website. You could go check it out. You could get it there if you want. We'll have the link for Bridget where you can get a price discount on it, probably as early as tomorrow. So we can get the link as soon as we have it. But this is my bamboo sonic toothbrush. Sonic toothbrushes have been studied, and if you're suffering from gum recession, or everyone should be concerned of that, because typically it just happens as you're getting older. And a lot of times the reason that people get gum recession is because they brush too hard. With a manual toothbrush, we scrub, or we use a hard brush, and never use a hard brush, always a soft brush. Soft bristles. Your gum tissue is extremely delicate. So what I did is I wanted to create something that was eco-friendly, but gentler on the gums, because a lot of the sonic vibration out there is really strong and really powerful. And sometimes when you have sensitive gums, you're trying to heal your mouth. Too much is not good. More is not always better. So we have ours has the vibration set around 32 to 3,500, depending on the setting. There's about 5 settings on here that you can choose. But what's really nice is when every 2 to 3 months, when you replace this, as opposed to plastic. Now, a plastic sonic toothbrush or toothbrush for any kind of plastic toothbrush takes approximately 400 years to biodegrade. Wow. And if we're changing toothbrushes, if every human is using one toothbrush for 3 to 4 months and throwing it in the dump, that's a lot of plastic. So everything that I create, I always keep in mind that, we don't want to, I'm trying to minimize our footprint. So the brush head is 100% biodegradable. This brush head, when you toss it and get a new one, takes 6 months to biodegrade. It's 100% bamboo, which is very sustainable. And it has the filling inside is a plastic, but it's made from cornstarch. So it's completely biodegradable. And then the bristles are plant-based bristles. So they're castor oil bristles and biodegrade as well. This entire thing will be gone from the earth in 6 months. So you can feel good about throwing these away every single time. I have people that we sent some out as gifts to some of our VIP customers, and they're like, it's a world of difference when you're throwing something away like this, as opposed to plastic, once you realize how long plastic really is around.
Yeah, and Sonic is better, so you want to use it. So yeah, what a great switch. So if I don't have, I'm gonna get technical here. If I don't have a compost bin, like, should I bury it, or like, is it going to biodegrade in the landfill? I thought things didn't really biodegrade there.
It'll biodegrade in the landfill. You can
It
just put
will.
it in
Okay.
your recycle. Yeah, it'll
Okay.
biodegrade.
Okay.
You can use it in your compost, but you can throw it in your recycle bin as well. Either way, but yeah, it's just made of bamboo, and with the rain and the sun, and all the enzymes and the bugs that degrade stuff. This will be gone in 6 months.
Oh, it's so cool. Well, I'm so glad to have you on. These are great ideas for like a healthy Christmas. I love that you have those bundles. The detox kit is just really fun. I just saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I'm really into detox, and we have to think about detoxing the mouth as well. I just love the education you're doing. So we're going to just make sure as many people as possible get their hands on this video and get that education. Yeah, great. Good luck with everything this holiday season. I hope we're getting a lot of these great products out there to the world.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for having me on. I know you and I have known each other for a long time. We've connected and then, haven't seen each other for a while. And we just saw each other recently, and it was so amazing.
It was so lovely. Yeah, you looked amazing. Yeah, I probably haven't interviewed you since like before COVID. So no wonder it's all feeling so fresh.
Yeah.
Pamela said great presentation. Yeah, I really loved it. Thanks everybody. I just want to tell you what we got up next week, and then I'll close here. Thanks for being on live.